Hi guys, it's Innocent from Drillaby Solutions with another video tutorial just for you. And in this video tutorial, we'll be talking about HTML. Now, what is HTML? Okay, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and it is the standard markup language for adding structure to a website. Now, if you're watching this video, that means you are either watching this video on YouTube, which is a website, and YouTube.com is made up of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and some other programming languages. So let's dive right into it, and I hope that at the end of this tutorial you'll be able to design websites, and then you'll be able to host those websites and send to your friends and family to see the great job that you have done. So let's get right into it. First, how do we write HTML and get our browser to interpret that HTML file or HTML document? Okay, so we write HTML by simply using what we call tags, okay, because it's a markup language, so we use tags, okay, and then we have HTML elements, and those tags are what make up the HTML elements. Okay, so I'll quickly show you that you can actually start writing HTML files or HTML templates, or actually even start designing a website on the fly, okay, using just your Notepad, okay, on Windows. So I've opened up my Notepad on Windows, and I'll just write the basic HTML file, okay, the basic website design, what it's actually made up of. Now the first thing I have to do is start my HTML website. Okay, so I'm building a website here, guys, with this open tag, okay, and it's, if you like math, you can call this the less than symbol, okay, and I put that, and then I have this exclamation mark, and then I'll write doc type. Okay, so the next thing is this doc type, right, and then HTML. So every HTML document starts with this. Okay, now this is just a tag to let the browser know that, oh, this is a modern HTML, which is HTML5, and it's the standard modern HTML used in 2021 and beyond. So after I write this, the next thing you need to do is start your HTML, okay, right here, and then you have the closing tag right here, and the closing tags look like this. So every other thing goes in between this HTML opening and HTML closing tag. And what is every other thing, we might ask ourselves? So the first thing is you need a head, okay, and then under the head you need to close it as well. So I'm just going to close this head. And now what do you have in this head section, or what you have in this head section can be something like your title. Okay, so this is the title of your website, of your web page. Now the title, and I just open and close the title as well there. Now the next thing you have, you need to give your website a title. So I'm just going to call this my website, and then after the head you also need a body. Okay, so the body is the section that carries things like your images, your links and whatnot. So in the body section, I'll just have a h1 tag, okay, and that h1 tag, I'm simply going to close it as well, because when you open your tags, you need to close, most of your tags need a closing tag as well. So my h1 is just going to say this is my new website, okay. And then after the h1 tag, I'll simply open up a new tag that says a paragraph tag, okay, and the paragraph tag is also going to be closed as well. So once I do this in the paragraph tag, I can just put in something that says welcome to my website. Alright, so this is a basic HTML file or HTML template. Not yet HTML file, because we have to save this as HTML. Now what I'll simply do is I'm going to click on file, right, and when I click on file, I'll click save as, okay, Now when I click save as, I'll save this on my desktop. Okay, so I'll just save this as index, okay, dot html, and then I'll change this to all files. Okay, so when I save this as index.html all files, and I just hit the save button, you're going to see this saved right here on my desktop. Okay, so you can see it saved on my desktop right now. Now when I double click on this index file and I open it up, you can see what I have here. I have, this is my new website right here. Okay, so so I have this website opened up, and now I can add some more things to this website, and you just see the new stuff's been added. So let's add another paragraph text. Okay, so I'm going to close this as well, and here I'm just going to say something like I love coding. Okay, and then I will of course show you how to save it. So you can just click save or save as one more time, right? And then index.html, just as we did before, and of course you want to change this to all, save, and you can replace that as well. So if I replace that, I'll open it up, and you can see I love coding right here on my website. So writing your HTML, your syntax, your HTML syntax really on a text file is good. You can do this, but a better way to approach this is to use something called an IDE. An IDE is an integrated development environment, and an IDE gives you special features for writing HTML. Okay, now there are different kinds of IDEs, but in this particular video tutorial we'll be using the Visual Studio Code IDE. And how do you get the Visual Studio Code IDE onto your computer? Now I'll just open my computer. I'll go to I'll visit my browser. So of course I have Visual Studio Code on my browser already, but let me just show you exactly what you can do. So you can just type vscode right here and hit enter. Okay, all right, so I have Visual Studio Code here, and I'll just click this particular one, and which is the code.visualstudio.com. Click on download and have this downloaded onto your computer, and then we can start working and breaking the HTML syntax into pieces where you can understand exactly how a website is made using HTML. So I can't wait to continue this tutorial with you, and in the next topic we're about to cover, we'll talk about the HTML elements. We'll talk about things like images, adding links to your website, and so many other topics in this video tutorial. Alright, so we used our Notepad and we were able to just define this HTML element right here, and remember that we saved this basic HTML template or HTML setup, and then we saved it and we ran it in our browser. So in this video I just want to take our time to explain exactly what is going on here. Now on the first line here you can see that I have doc type HTML, and what this is just telling this HTML element is that this declaration just tells it that HTML5, just like I explained, and then HTML itself, this tag here, the second tag HTML, is the root element, okay, of the HTML page. Okay, and then we have the head. The head elements contain some meta information like the title, meta tags, and things like that. And then we have the title, which goes into the head section, and then we have the body. So the body element defines the documents, okay, the body of the documents, and you have things like images, hyperlinks, tables, paragraphs. A whole lot of stuff goes into the body of the HTML page, and you can see we have h1 paragraph, and then we have a closing body tag and a closing HTML tag there. So that's that for HTML. Now what is really an HTML element? So I have this opened up here just to explain to you exactly what HTML elements are. So an HTML element always begins with a this open tag, okay, and then the name of the tag. So the tag name goes here, right, and then you have a closing tag. Now then you have your content, okay, so any content you have goes right here in the middle, and then you have most times a close tag name right here, okay. So this is exactly what an HTML element would look like, okay. For example, the h1 element we used, not h1 element, I'm just going to rub this off. Okay, so the h1 element we used then, and then we said something like this is my website, and then we close the h1 element right there. So that's an example this is an example of HTML elements right here. So we'll just continue with the simple HTML web page we have built using Notepad, and then but this time we will not be using Notepad, we will be using the Visual Studio IDE, which is Integrated Development Environment. So quickly I'm just going to exit this, okay, and then bring this, but we are not using Notepad this time. So what you want to do now is, after installing IDE, you have several ways of opening this element in this HTML index page with your IDE. Just go to open with right here, and then you have some options here. So you need to, for me, I don't have Visual Studio Code here, but I have it installed, so I'm going to choose another app and click on more apps, okay, and then the next thing I'll do is select my Visual Studio Code right here, and when I do that I'll say okay, and it's going to open this HTML element for me, okay. So it's going to open that for me, and then so I can easily format this so that we know exactly what is happening. So I can tab this, and then I can also tab the title, and then I can tab everything in the body as well, okay. So this is a better formatting for you to be able to see exactly what is going on right here, okay. So let's continue with our HTML and learning of HTML. So the first thing I want to talk about is the heading, okay. Now for the heading elements are defined using this h1, okay. So I'm just going to delete this, or I will not delete this, I'll leave it there using the h1 now, but not just h1. So I can also use h2 up to h6. So h1 defines like the most important heading, while h6 defines the least important heading. And let us just do like h1 more. So I'll do h2 here, right, hit my tab, and so okay, so you can see that immediately I open my h2, it closes the tag for me, okay. So this is my header 2 or heading 2, okay. So I'll just put this is my second heading, right, and then I can hit h3 right there, tab, right, so it completes it, and I'll just write this is my third heading, and then click h4 and tab, and so this is my fourth heading, okay. And let's do this one more time. So we can just copy the fourth heading, then you can paste that, go down, paste that. You can change this to h5, right? And of course you want to change this as well here, and of course 5th and 6th. Okay guys, so h6 right here and h6. So I'm going to save this right here, and once I save this once you save this, Ctrl S, you can now go back to your code and run it, okay? Or you can simply click on start debugging, and it's going to ask for which of the browsers to launch. So I'm just going to click Chrome, and you can see, right? So now when I click Chrome, you can see exactly what the website looks like. So the first heading, you can see how it goes down until the 6th heading. So this is my 6th heading, looks very smaller and of course less important. And then you can see my paragraph text which says welcome to my website, and then the next paragraph text which says I love coding. So that is one thing about the heading, and then the paragraph text. Now let's say I want to put a link in this HTML page, okay? So how do I do that? Now after this paragraph text, I'm simply going to introduce you to the HTML links, and they are called anchor tags, okay? So these HTML links are called anchor tags, and you write anchor tags with this A, okay? So another easy way or shortcut to do this is if I hit the A and I hit the tab, okay? What is happening here is I have the anchor tag, and then I have the href attribute, okay? So this href attribute means I'm going to add the link to in this quote, okay, and then the text which I want to add. So let me just show you exactly what I mean. Let's say I want to link to my Facebook profile, okay? So I'll just write visit my Instagram profile, okay? So not Facebook. I'll just write visit my IG profile here. So when I write visit my IG profile, I need to give the link in this href attribute, okay? Now https, okay, and then I'm going to link to my Instagram, so instagram.com/drillabyte. Okay, so I'm going to save this once again. So once I save this, I'm going to quickly click on restart, and then you can see that when you click on restart, you see that exactly I don't need to refresh this browser right here again. You just see it right here, and then when I click on it, right, it's going to open up my Instagram, okay? So it's going to open up the Instagram. So I'll simply just go back to where this is. Now one thing you can do is you can add something that would enable this to open up in a new page instead of opening right here, okay? So to do that, to add a command that enables this to open up in a new page, all you simply need to do is to set the target attribute, and then for the target you are going to say you are going to just say blank, and then save this. Now when you do this and you refresh this once again, so come here, I open it. When I click this, you see that it opens up in a new page, and you have your original page still open up here, okay? So it doesn't close up on this original page. So that's how you tell your links to open up on a new page. So let's continue our tutorial. The next thing you want to learn after your anchor tags, of course, the next thing you want to learn is your image, okay? So how do you add image? So HTML images, you can add them using the image tags, okay, the image HTML element. And how you do that is simply just write img once again and click tab. Now the image tag also has a an src attribute, and this src means source. Okay, so it has a source attribute, and it's simply you simply have to tell this source attribute that exactly where your image is located. Okay, so and I can actually link to an image online, so I'll just show you how you can easily link to an online image. For example, I'm just going to do Pixabay. So you can find a lot of images on Pixabay. Okay, so let's say this image, I want to link to this image. Okay, so what I can do is simply just left click on the image and then copy image address. Okay, now once I copy image address, I can come to my HTML element and paste that here. So this is the image address, and then I can have the alt. Okay, so this alt means in case your image has not loaded, what text should your user see. And this is also good to include your alt attribute in case of visually impaired users, and it also improves your SEO, which is your search engine optimization. So when you don't add like your alt to your website, you are going to be at a disadvantage and your site won't be SEO friendly. So alt, I'm just going to add describe the picture, so picture of a bird, for instance. Okay, so I'm just going to shoot this down. Okay, so I have alt picture of a bird, right? And then you can see that picture of a bird, and let me just save this, and then I would restart this here, and you can see my website, and I've been able to link to that bird here. So look at what my website is looking like right now, and then I just decrease the size so you can see what my website is looking like, and you can see that this picture is actually big. Now one thing you can do is you can set more attributes aside alt, so you can set the width and the height in your HTML elements. Okay, so let's just bring this back to 100%. Go back to our Visual Studio Code, and then we add the width and the height. Okay, so I can hit enter just to have some space right there, and then I have the width and the height. So the width, I'm going to do a width of like 100 for instance. Save that, and then I can also have the height. So height, I'm also going to do or 150. Okay, 150, and I'm going to save this. Now when I reload this and I go back here, you can see that I have done damage to my image. Okay, so what you can do is go back and of course use 100. So note, you can actually use different measurements for this. So I can write 100% and 100%, and then I'll still get like exactly what I want. So if I come here, I reload this, you can see I have my image right here. Okay, so there are a lot of settings you can do to your website to make it look beautiful and look good. Now the next thing we want to do is, let's go back to my code. So let's talk about the paragraph, the horizontal rule, break statement, and pre-formatted text. Okay, so first, you've already had the paragraph text, and this is the paragraph text right here, but let's really go deeper into the paragraph text, right? And then we can see exactly what we can do with this paragraph tag. So first, let me show you how the paragraph tags really works. Okay, so I say I love coding. Let's say I want to add some more paragraphs inside the paragraph tag here. So I'll just say I love coding, hit enter, and say I love dancing, enter, I love singing, okay, enter, and I love eating. Okay, so I have like 4 things I love doing right here. Not really, but let's say I love doing these 4 things, and I have them in a paragraph text. And of course I can easily come here, code this, and you can see I have a problem. Everything I've written is appearing on just one line, so I'm going to close this up because I don't need it. So sorry, so I don't need that. So what I will simply do here is just come down here. Now you see I said I love eating, I love dancing, I love singing, I love coding. Everything I've written here, I want it to appear like this, but it's appearing on a single straight line. Okay, now there's a solution to this, and I'm going to show you the solution in a bit. But before I talk about the solution, let us just quickly add something to this particular text which I've written here, and that is the HR, or the horizontal rule. Now when I say I love coding, I'm just going to add the HR rule. Okay, so I would come down here, okay, and add HR and save that. Now notice that I'm actually adding the HR inside the paragraph text right here, and then I continued writing. Note I can also add the HR after my welcome to my website. I can add HR right here like this, just like that. And notice that the HR tag does not have a closing tag, so you don't need to open your HR tag and then close it just like your paragraph tag. If I start this up and I open up my browser, you see these lines right here. So this is the HR horizontal rule. Okay, this is the HR line right here, the first one, which is this, and then the second one, which is this. And then so you can see I can put the HR tag anywhere in my code. I can put it before, I can put it inside the paragraph text, just anywhere I want it to be. Now but I still have a problem with my I love dancing, I love singing, and I love eating, even after adding the HR. So what can I do about this bit right here? What you can do is you can actually add the break. Okay, so this break tag, BR tag, is going to break this text, and you see exactly what I'm saying. So if I save that and I just come here to restart this and I open up my browser, you see now, because I put I love dancing here and I put the break tag, and you see my text goes on to the next line, so it breaks my text. And then I have I love singing right here, and it breaks the text again. And then you have the image, which you can see here, and the link, which you can see here. So before the link, after the image, right, I can also add a break statement right here. So I can do break, save this, and then let's see what our image is looking like. Okay, so if I save that and I just restart this, open up my browser, you can see I have visit my IG profile, you have a break, and then you have this image. So yes, your question is, can we use more than one break? Yes, you can. So I can add 2 breaks right here, save this, and then restart my browser. And of course, you see I have more space after my link. Okay, so there is a solution to this. Let's say I don't want to add these break statements. What can I do in that regard? I'm just going to cut this. I'm going to show you my next tag, which is the pre-formatted tag. So I'm going to add this PRE, okay, and all you need to do is just say PRE and tab, and of course enter. So this is going to, I don't need the break statement if I'm using the pre-formatted text. The pre-formatted tag just simply tells HTML, or tells the browser to interpret this bit just as it is, with the breaks and all, just as we've coded it right here. So if I come down here, back, I restart this. So I'm just going to click restart and come down here, and you see I have this: I love dancing, I love singing, I love eating. So just the way I've you know done this, I have everything working the same way. So I've gone ahead to change a few things. I've changed the theme of my Visual Studio Code, as you can see, and then I've installed a few plugins right here. And so let's continue with our tutorial. So we're talking about style. Okay, so style, HTML style. Now HTML style attribute is just used to add styles to your HTML element, and those styles can be color, font, size, and more. So one more thing I've gone ahead to do is to install this Visual Studio plugin, right, that allows me to preview my code. Okay, so this allows me to preview my code, and I've also added a Git repository to this file, so you can see that I have the Git repository added there. Okay, so I'm just going to close that up and open this. Okay, so you can see this is the preview of my code right here, and whenever I make any changes, okay, you would see that here. So for example, if I say this is my website and I just put this, you can see the change on the fly right here. So this is a good one for us to just know exactly what we're doing. So I'm just going to save that. And then we're talking about HTML style. Now, like I said, HTML style allows you to change the color, the fonts, the size, and a lot more stuff you can do with HTML style. I say this body, for instance, I want to add a style attribute to it. Okay, so we just do style, and when I do style, I just have to hit the tab key on Visual Studio Code, and then it completes it for me. So it auto completes that. And then I have different style attributes I can just add right there. So for example, I can write background color, for instance. Okay, so you see, if I click on background color, I have the option of adding a whole lot of background to my HTML element right now. So let's say I like this aqua, and you can see it changes the background color immediately, and you can see exactly this is how the style attribute works. Now let's say the H1, for instance, you want to add a style attribute to the H1. All you need to do is come into the open tag, the H1 open tag, and just type style right there. So when you type style right there, you can now choose the style you want. I'm just going to go for background color once again, and then change that to something like white. Okay, so you can just scroll down, you see a lot of colors you can really use right here. So I just change that to white, so you can see I have the background color of this particular H1, which I've changed right here. Okay, so what about want to change the font of this H1. Okay, so let's do H2, for instance, and then of course style, and then we go for the font. So if you start to type F, you will see a lot of font options. So if I say font family, you can see I have so many of the font family right there. So if I go for impact, you can see the font is going to change just like this. You can also do the font size. Okay, so let's say H3, I can write style one more time, and then I'll go for the font size. So if you hit the F key here again, you can see the font size, and this is the syntax for writing the font size. And for the font size, you can choose any amount you want. For example, I'm just going to do 160%. Okay, and if I do 160%, you see my H3, this is my H3. The third heading is going to change. The more I increase it, the more this gets bigger. Okay, the more the heading gets bigger. So that's the font, and you can also do like a text alignment. Let's say this H1 for instance. Okay, we can do, so let's say we can do a text alignment right there. Okay, so I'm doing a text alignment. So T for text alignment. Okay, so text align, and we can do text align to be center, and you see that the text is now centered on this page. Now note, I'm just trying to show you really exactly what you can do with the style attributes. So it's really no big deal for right now. Now note that these are all CSS properties, and when we start talking about CSS, you'll be able to use CSS to achieve this same thing we're doing right now. Okay, so having said that, let us talk about HTML text formatting. Okay, so for HTML text formatting elements, right, you have formatting elements were designed to display special types of text. Okay, for example, if we come down here, okay, so I'm just going to clear this so we have more space, and then if I write something that starts with a B, okay, B for instance, you see opens and close, and I just write something right here that says this is a bold text, and then you can see that this is a bold text is going to be here. You can see that it appears right here. Okay, so this is a bold text. Because of my B tag, I'm formatting that as a bold text. Now apart from the B, I can also do strong. Okay, for example, if I go down here, just enter, so I can do strong for instance, and strong, just tap that, and then I can just write this is an important text, right? And you can see that this is a bold text and this is an important text. So strong is going to strong is really going to just show that a text is actually important. Okay, now what else can you do? You can do italics. Okay, so remember how we can use the break tag B arrow to, you can use B arrow to actually break that up. And if I go down here, I can do italics. So just write I, then do italics. So this, right, italics, and of course I can break that up here as well. Note, this is what I'm doing. What else can we do? We can, apart from italics, we can do emphasis or emphasized text. Okay, so I'm just going to do the emphasized text. Okay, so if I do that, the emphasized text is EM for emphasized, and I can just write EM right there. So okay. Okay, so you can see this is italics and this is emphasized. Okay, so we can do small, right? So I'm going to break that once again, hit enter, and small, and this is small. Okay, so we can also do of course we can do mark. For example, let's say we have a paragraph text, for instance, right? And I do this is a, and then we can do mark here. So I'm just going to mark, so that's mark. I'm just going to mark that. Okay, so mark, and I'm going to type in the word mark. Okay, so you can see that it just highlights this particular place. This is what we do. So this is a mark text, is in a paragraph, and then the mark is being highlighted because of the tag mark we're using there. So you can also do delete. Okay, so the del or delete element defines the text that has been deleted from a document. So browser will usually strike out that text. Okay, for example, if we have a paragraph text and it just says and then we have a delete, for instance, I'm going to do that, and then stop. Okay, now look at the word stop. You see that the stop here has been struck out, so that's the work of this del tag right there. And then you have the INS. So the HTML INS element is just going to define a text that has been inserted into a document. Okay, so your browser would underline the INS text. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and copy this line. So I'll copy this line right here and paste that here, and then I'll just change the DL to INS, and same for this. Okay, so if I save that, you see the first del command just deletes this, that is, it cancels this, like strike through, and this just underlines the text. So these are some of the elements you have. These are some of the text formatting that can be done in HTML. Now note that you have a whole lot of them, like the superscript, and some other ones, but we can't really take everything here. Maybe we just take the superscript for the last element. So if I do SVP, for instance, and then I'm just going to write superscript. Okay, now this is what it looks like right here. Okay, so next let's talk about HTML quotations and citation elements. So what do I mean by quotations? So there are tags for HTML quotations, and one of those tags is the block quote. Okay, so I'll just explain to you exactly how you can use the block quote. Okay, so once again I'll just write the block quote right here, and then in the block quote you can actually have some text right here in the block quote. So one thing I'll just do is really just open up Chrome. So let's just copy some dummy text. Alright, so I have this lorem ipsum text, and I'll just copy a portion of this text like this. So Ctrl C, and then I'll go back to my code editor. Okay, so I have copied that dummy text which I put in there, and of course it's a one-line text, so I'll just hit enter a few times to just get that in one bit so you can see exactly what I've copied. Okay, and you can see exactly how this text is appearing on my preview. Okay, so you can see this is the quote, and you can see how the text is appearing like a quote. Okay, now one thing you can do is the quote can take in this site element, and what you can add in the site element is simply HTML tag, right? So if I do, like, for example, HTTPS, and I just direct it to my Instagram profile, so I have this right there. I'll just save that, and then so I have, like, this HTML element is what the block quote is all about. So another quotation element is the short quote, right? So the short quote is, I'll just show you what it means, and the way you do the short quote is this Q tag. So this Q tag just tells us about the short quote, right? So I'll just write this is a short quote, and you can see exactly what is going on right here. Okay, so you can see I have two quotation marks on this short quote, and the block quote, you can see everything is arranged in this block form, right? So that's that about the short quote. Now another thing I would like to talk about is the abbreviation, okay, or ABBRO. So if I type ABBR, this is also a tag. You see I have a title. For example, I can put the title as hypertext markup language. So the title is going to be hypertext markup language, that's going to be language, and then in between this ABBR, which stands for abbreviation, I can just put HTML. Now you notice what happens right here, that HTML is underlined. So to show me that the meaning of this HTML is hypertext markup language, you can see if I put my mouse over it like this, it simply just tells me the meaning of this HTML right here. So that's what you can use this you can use the abbreviation tag for, right? Now one more last thing we want to look at is the site. Okay, so the site quote. Now how you do that is you have this site. It's actually different from the first one you saw, and then you can have a title, for instance. So you want to cite, let's say, the book, and what book am I thinking of now? Maybe a book on JavaScript. So I'll just write JavaScript, right? JavaScript for beginners. Note, if you want to separate them, you can just use this break. So I have JavaScript for beginners on the next line, right? And then that is all about the quotation tags in HTML. So up next is HTML comments. Okay, so for HTML comments, I'm simply just going to show you what a comment looks like. So an HTML comment is a line of code that your browser is going to ignore. It's meant for just you, the programmer, or any other programmer working with you on that particular code. And how you write HTML comment is you start your opening tag, and then you have this exclamation. So opening tag, exclamation, and then you have two dash like this, and then you complete. So you complete it with two dashes again and a closing or a greater than symbol. Now anything that goes in between these two symbols, this first one and this last one, is going to be treated as HTML comments. Okay, so this is a comment, right? So you can see that nothing happens on my preview window because the browser actually knows that this is a comment. So you can actually write comments inside tags as well. Let's say this pre-formatted element, I can write a comment here and just do this and say, of course, the same way, right? And then we say this will not show. Okay, so you can see I have this will not show inside this pre-formatted text, but it's not going to show on the browser, right? Because it's a comment. Okay, so that is that for HTML comments. Alright, so I'm going to stop this session here, and then I'll break it up into a part 2 where we'll start to talk about HTML forms and then CSS as well as JavaScript. Okay, so thank you for watching. If you know this video you found it helpful, or if you know you want us to keep on going with the part 2 of this video, so that we talk about advanced concepts like HTML, JavaScript, and HTML CSS for styling, that's cascading style sheet, please leave a comment in the comment section and leave a thumbs up. So subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can keep getting updates whenever we upload a video. So thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.